For those of you who didn't see, about a month ago, I actually made a video talking about how the projected pick number 1 of the 2024 AFL draft class had changed. Again, for the longest time, it was said to be Josh Smiley was the projected pick number 1. And then, of course, Jagger Smith and Finn O'Sullivan kind of rose to become that established number 1 type of player that it looked like the Richmond Football Club could, of course, go after. And again, in a draft class where the opinion on who should be pick number 1 kind of changes more times than I've seen my dad in the last 5 years, we now, I think, have another projected pick number 1, and that might just be an understatement, because not only do we have another one, but I think we've actually got 2 players who could be now the new projected pick number 1. Again, unfortunately for Finn O'Sullivan, who became the projected pick 1 in the last video with Jagger Smith, he's kind of completely jumped off whatever the biggest bridge is in Melbourne, and it has kind of floated down to, I'd say, rank like 3 to 5 at this point. But one player who is still up there is like the guy who will probably be the pick number 1 does happen to be Jagger Smith, who of course did train with Richmond in the off season. Again, he did actually go and play for the Tigers in the VFL, where he had some really high disposal games and looked absolutely fantastic for them. But one other guy who actually went and played for Richmond in the VFL, who I know is a massive Tigers fan himself, just like Jagger Smith, actually does happen to be Harvey Langford, who has definitely jumped up into being kind of on par with Jagger Smith in the terms of this guy could legitimately go pick number 1. And it's absolutely crazy, because I think earlier in the year he was ranked like number 10, and now he's ranked, I think, number 3, and that's only number 3 behind Jagger Smith and Ashcroft, who we know Ashcroft can't go pick 1 because his dad decided to go play football for the Brisbane Lions 20 years before. Again, Harvey Langford has jumped up to being the projected pick number 1 on a bunch of different draft boards out there. He is a 190 centimeter inside midfielder who has a very good knack of being able to go play forward as like a high half forward who can easily take a mark, but has pretty good craftiness when it does come to, you know, the ball on the ground. And when it's not up in the air, he doesn't become a completely useless, slow, taller forward. Because he's only 190 centimeters, he's not that, again, big key forward type of height, and he's got the midfield capabilities where he's obviously able to win the ball throughout there, so he goes down forward and it kind of translates over there, and it's a very similar type of thing. Again, I actually got the pleasure of watching him play against the Oakley Chargers. I think it was about a month or 2 ago, because I went to go and watch my mate Bomber Orchard, who is in the same team as Harvey Langford. Again, Bomber, aka Charlie, is actually projected to be drafted in this draft as well. So I actually did an interview video with him recently. I highly recommend you guys going and checking that out. And look, if you guys went and told me you checked that shit out by liking it and commenting on it, I don't really know. It makes me happy either way. But I feel like going down and watching these blokes play is the only time you can actually watch a bunch of 17-year-olds do something and not feel like you should probably be going to fucking jail for life. But yeah, Harvey Langford is an exceptional talent who could easily go pick number 1 to Richmond. And if he doesn't go number 1 to Richmond, I can definitely find or see a way where he finds himself as a Tiger. Again, there's rumors they're going to be trying to get pick 3. There's rumors they're going to be trying to get pick 4. Whatever might happen, it is expected that Richmond will have another higher pick in the draft. So if Harvey Langford doesn't go 1 and North pass on him at 2, he could very well become a Tiger at the end of the day anyway. But for now, I genuinely think he is a massive chance for pick 1. And I can see why he is projected to go pick number 1 on a lot of draft boards out there. Again, there is another guy who has legitimately come out of nowhere. Like, it's like that one fucking time when the Cleveland Cavaliers randomly spawned Matthew Dellavedova to become this defensive stopper on Steph Curry in 2015. Again, no one knows where that motherfucker came from, but he was there and he did his job. This next guy is exactly like that. I believe he was ranked 13th or 14th only like 2 months ago on the draft board, and now there are legitimate draft boards out there who have this guy as a potential projected number 1 pick, and that does happen to be Murphy Reid. Again, the 180 centimeter midfielder who has an exceptional ability to be able to go and play down forward as well. Again, he moves around the ground really well. Very quick player who some believe could be thrown on the wing if really needed to. He's kind of that guy that I think is being compared to Shane Edwards and what Shane Edwards used to do for the Richmond Football Club. A guy whose ability is to naturally be a midfielder, but when he needs to do a rotation or when the club wants to change it up, can possibly go to the wing or possibly go up forward. Again, this guy's stats have been absolutely crazy over the last couple weeks. We have seen Jagger Smith put up 45 disposal games. We've seen Levi Ashcroft put up those 45 disposal games. We've seen Harvey Langford put up these like 30 disposal and 2 goal games. And now we're seeing Murphy Reid do the exact same thing. I believe he had a game very recently where it was about 30 disposals and 2 goals and looked like one of the most clean players on the field. Again, I actually don't remember who said this, so I feel pretty bad. But there was a draft expert out there that said, quote, "I would rather his 25 disposals over someone else's 35 to 40 disposals." Again, when someone says that about you, you know you are a damaging footballer, and that is exactly what Murphy Reid is. Again, out of the 3 of Harley Reid, bro? That's the previous draft. Are you all there in the head, man? Out of all these projected ones that I've talked about in Jagger Smith and Harvey Langford, I do think Murphy Reid is by far the least likely to go pick number 1. But the fact is, what I see Murphy Reid potentially being in the AFL is a guy who can come in and maybe average you around 18 to 22 disposals per game on the inside, but also as a forward and then on the wing, and maybe average you a goal or so a game. But the thing is, you know, at least 15 of those 20 disposals are going to be elite numbers that you are absolutely going to be able to benefit from as a club. Again, there was always like a couple years ago, Jack McRae would go out there and average 34 disposals a game or something, and Shane Edwards would average about 18. But at the end of the day, most people would watch Shane Edwards and how he plays and be like, he is a better footballer than Jack McRae. Just because Jack McRae, he averages those 16 extra touches, but only like half of his disposals are any good. So Shane Edwards' disposals end up kind of equivalating to be more and actually better because of what he does with the ball. Again, you can accumulate a lot of the ball. That doesn't mean you're doing good things with it. That doesn't mean that you're affecting the play or damaging the scoreboard or hurting the opposition. Again, players like Jack McRae have kind of been put in that boat for a while. Tim Taranto on the Tigers, Jacob Hopper on the Tigers. They can get a fair bit of the ball, but they haven't been really damaging with the ball, especially in this most recent season. But a guy like Murphy Reid, he's expected to come in and maybe get half the ball, but he'll put up as many good disposals, if not better, but they'll actually be damaging. And this guy has the ability to potentially hit the scoreboard as well, especially if you put him down in the forward line. So will Richmond consider Murphy Reid for the first overall pick? Yes, they will. They'll 100% do their research and they'll 100% think this guy has spawned out of nowhere like Jack Black in the Minecraft trailer. We genuinely think he has the ability to maybe do something really, really good in the AFL. He will be considered for 1. He'll probably be around the ballpark of like pick 3 to 7 or so, something like that. But I definitely don't expect him to go around pick 13 to 14 like he was previously mentioned. So again, we're looking at 2 new guys who have been added to this projected number 1 list now. I believe Jagger Smith is the projected 1, but I can see how on other mock drafts they have Harvey Langford, how they have Murphy Reid, and I guess how some of them, not many of them now, but some of them still have Finn O'Sullivan. Again, the draft is still about 2 months or so away, and by the time I make probably another one of these videos in a month, some guy who's ranked like pick 20 will probably have jumped on this list and be a projected pick number 1 on some random draft board. Again, this shit has been happening so common now that, I mean, look, it gives me content, so why not? But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment all of your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. Who is going to go pick 1 in the 2024 AFL draft to the Tigers? I'd very much like to know. Could Jagger Smith be pick 1? Could it be Harvey Langford, Murphy, Reid, Finn O'Sullivan? Or could Josh Smiley come back up and be that pick number 1? I'd very much like to know all your thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/vlogging channel. And check out the video I made with Bomber if you haven't already, of course. Big Bomber Orchard, you know, me and him, we go way back. That man's getting drafted now. Hopefully he buys me a Palmer or some shit, or maybe a Zinger box meal with the money he hopefully makes. And if he doesn't get drafted, then maybe I'll buy him a Zinger box meal. I don't know. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.